I'm Snez and can a bodybuilder handle a CrossFit workout with?
I'm Tristen Luplow, IFBB Pro, and let's see if I can do this, guys.
When did you get into fitness yourself?
I mean, I've kind of been in fitness. I did all-star cheer and boxing as a kid.
Yep.
But I got into bodybuilding specifically when I was 23.
Okay.
And I started in bikini, and I trained bikini for, or competed.
Is that your knee?
Huh?
Is that your knee cracking?
Yeah, it was. I didn't even feel it.
I'm like, I've had 6 surgeries. How do I hear your knees over mine? All right, let's jump on these. These bikes are really, really cool. Have you done these bikes before? You could jump on this one because you're nice and short here.
Perfect.
So where do you typically compete?
I compete everywhere. I've actually never competed in the same state twice yet.
And who's your coach?
Right now, I'm open.
Really?
I've not settled on my prep coach for the year.
Okay. Do you change it up?
Depending on what's needed for where I'm at and the type of coaching style that I need to get where I gotta go.
Yep.
I will go with what's gonna be the best option for me at that time.
Got it. Okay.
Are you competing in anything, or is coaching your primary focus now?
Coaching's my main focus right now. So this is my second business. I have 2. And then I'm just getting into like real estate now. From the end of Feb to the end of March, I'm gonna be traveling everywhere. So there's a lot going on. If I wanted to compete in anything, I would need to stay in the same spot.
Are you gonna be speaking at any more seminars?
Yeah, there's a couple of places, there's a couple of things that I'm planning on doing. I love speaking. It's honestly probably gonna be my 3rd or 4th business model that I create.
Okay.
Because I've been doing it more and more, but I've been doing it as a here and there. But I actually want it to be a business model, so that's the next step. I have both bars, as in like a regular men's bar, the 45 and the 35, whatever you want to use, they're just over there.
Okay.
And what we'll do is let's build to a heavy double, okay? So basically something that you feel like you can hit 2 reps, and I'll set this time up, and we're gonna do it over the course of 15 minutes.
Okay.
So we just got 15 minutes to hit a heavy double, whatever that looks like for you, and we'll go from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds solid.
Okay, so these ones, so obviously tallest bar is a 45 if you like that. 35 is just obviously a smaller grip.
Okay.
Every time I use the 45-pound bars, I'm like, I can't do it. I've become so used to like female bars, it's crazy.
So the first time I did a CrossFit class, I went with a group of friends who do it regularly. We got in a partner situation.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up with one of my guy friends. And the CrossFit coach, she was trying to tell me that I should use a girl bar. And I was just like, no, I'm good. And we were doing climbing sets.
Oh, yes.
I died.
You know what, like, the thing is though, they're actually not meant to be labeled as men's or women's bars. They're meant to be labeled as a 45-pound bar versus a 35-pound bar.
I think that's a more appropriate way to roll with it.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's just kind of how it is. So,
These feel good today.
how does your training routine typically look? I know you have like leg day, but like, what does that look like?
Right now, I'm running on like probably RP 9 for all sets, but it's high volume.
Okay.
So I'll just roll with whatever we're doing today.
Right on.
I got 15 minutes, you say?
We're gonna have 15 minutes. Can we set that time up to go from 15 minutes?
I'll take smaller jumps because, you know, my knees.
Yeah, you gotta take care of those things. Aren't you like 30 years old?
Yeah.
That's funny. You make me feel good about how mine sound. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know.
So how long have you been training? Yourself, not as a trainer, but working out.
Oh, so I started the gym when I was 13, and I've come a long way since then. So that's where I actually started, and then I, just kind of slowly got into the gym more and more. Then I got into soccer, obviously a bit more like at a higher level. So I played soccer professionally.
Okay.
So I played 7 years pro, but leading up to that, I actually had to, really learn how to manage my body really well, because obviously one of the biggest injuries that most soccer players get are knee injuries. So I wanted to also like maximize myself. So, started doing strength and conditioning, got into the gym to try and, from an injury prevention standpoint, speed, agility, coordination, all that stuff. And so I wanted to better my ability on the field. So I used the gym to do that. And I was able to apply it to my sport really well. And then, you know, I wanted to go to university. All the time I was like, I'm going to become a PE teacher, which makes absolutely no sense with my personality. And then I thought I was going to do that.
I don't know. I think you would have been a fun PE teacher.
Oh my gosh, probably. But like me and kids, I don't know. Like we're just, I don't do well with excuses, right? So that's probably more so what I was worried about. I'm big on like being able to squat 100 kilos as much as you can for as long as you can.
I'm very American. What is that in pounds?
220, I think exactly, or 225, 220. Like this is how I think about standards. I was like, a female should be able to squat their body weight, right, for sure. Deadlift probably 2 times their body weight. Bench press 3/4 of their body weight. And then press half of their body weight. Like, those are standards that honestly, most people are losing, and probably only about 5% of people can actually hit those standards, which is crazy. Not even athletes, just lifestyle people. Like, they cannot squat their body weight. Many people don't understand the value of like doing strength training, doing all of this stuff, because all they focus on is, well, I've just got to grind my years out, do the basics, do the bare minimum, and they don't realize that when they optimize like their health from a whole standpoint of like, doing strength training, doing, cardio stuff, maximizing their nutrition, managing sleep and stress, like that's really where it's at. And so every time I kind of like put out content or anything like that out there, I'm always like, you should be able to do this. And like, but there's no way. Like, I think I put out a video the other day, and it was 95% of people over the age of 30 don't sprint anymore. Not because they can't, but because they think it's unnecessary. And like one that went viral, which I love that. And then the next video was like me sprinting. And I was like, you should be able to sprint. And they're like, why would I use this? I'm like, I don't know, maybe to get out of a burning building.
That's the first thing that just came to my mind. Maybe to run from an entire city on fire. Or
like if your kids are running and you want to sprint after them. Like, I don't understand why that people don't think like that.
Like everything from, I think that about the squat though. Like it's a foundation movement. You use it, and people think that we only need to do it under the bar, right? So I think when you think squat, they're like, oh, iron bar, unnecessary. But I'm like, okay, you have to squat to get on the couch. Get off the couch, sit down for dinner, get in and out of your car.
Yeah.
You realize you start to lose the ability to get out of your freaking car.
I know, right?
Because you don't take care of something.
Exactly.
That's wild to me.
Okay, this will be our last one because we're on our last 45 seconds.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Right on the bell. Right on the bell. Sweet. I worked for so many gyms. I learned what didn't work. And I think in a male-dominant industry, women need to step up and show the authority in fitness. What better way to do it than running your own spot, right? Like, I think women have a great idea of what the customer needs. Men have a great idea of what he needs. And I think that that's the biggest problem, is that most of the time you hear about who owns gyms, men or men and their wives. That's who owns the gym. So I was like, you know what? I'll just open it on my own. So I don't have any business partners. I don't have anyone that helps me. Like I got female coaches. I have one male coach, but I only just hired him last year. So when I opened it, I really wanted to be a little different. So I wanted to make sure that the space was inclusive, it was safe, and people felt like I could go there and I could be myself. Because it is very intimidating, right? Like if you think about the person that's like walks in the gym, what's the top thing in any gym that most people, most women especially feel? They're like, well, I should just go to the treadmill because it's the safest place to be. So I wanted to kind of kill that a little bit. So now when they come here, you know, you'll find the classes are mostly women with a couple of men, which is really cool.
That is really cool.
So I love that idea. And I also didn't want to be like the garage gym. So if you think of like private gyms, a lot of them are, you know, in a warehouse somewhere. And I didn't want that idea either, you know? So I wanted to kind of try and challenge it a little bit in that sense. We'll do it, have you heard of the 21, 15, 9? So you do 21 reps, 15 reps, and then 9 reps.
Okay.
Okay. What we'll do is we'll do box jumps.
Okay.
Because I love doing box jumps. And then we'll do some burpees to a jump to the bar up here. Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. No, let's add some lunges.
Word.
Okay. So we'll start with 21 lunges, which is actually 42.
Yep.
21 box jumps. And then what we'll do is we'll do these on this side right here. So you'll basically just drop hands and feet to the floor. Touch your thighs, touch your belly to the ground.
Okay.
And then just a jump and tap here. So 21 of everything, 15 of everything, and then 9 of everything.
Cool.
Does that sound good?
Sounds awesome. Cool. These are jello already.
Yeah, the idea behind hitting a heavy lift for 2 reps is trying to like understand like how to evaluate your strength, because I don't think people keep score enough, right? Like they don't do, you use RPE, I use percentages a little bit more, but depending on where people are at, I try to use a little bit of RPE and percentages. The whole idea is like hit something heavy for 2 reps so you're not fully maxing, like it's not 110%, but you're probably at about 101, I would say, maybe like 98. And then just trying to hit something where you are able to push yourself, but like you said, like you can kind of recover, like you're kind of like feeling a bit more normal now. But how did you find that versus, I guess, like a regular training session?
It's fun. It's fun to gauge your strength, honestly. Like it is a good metric to know, and it kind of inspires you. So it kind of puts like the mental drive behind the movement itself.
Yeah.
Which being mentally and physically connected to your workout is a great feeling.
Yeah.
So it was cool to be able to like do that with you and do climb up, and you gave us a time frame, which was 15 minutes, which felt pretty appropriate to find a heavy double. And like you said, I hit my double, I racked it right on the bell. So that was a really cool way to do it. And I got to push to a weight that I don't normally do in my sets. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
ditching my weights.
How often do you do testing?
Oh gosh, when I'm in a bodybuilding season, it's not frequent that I'll do a testing phase. When I'm in a progress season, I'd say probably every 2.5 to 3 months. We'll just kind of gauge where we're at.
Yeah, cool. So it's like every 8 to 12 weeks you'll test?
Roughly, yeah.
So then do you use those numbers into your actual season then?
Yeah,
to know how much?
I would use those numbers to gauge my RPE through my season from there.
Yeah, cool. What do you, and I'm curious your take on this, what do you think is the best way for someone to tackle their gym session based on lifestyle? We're not talking about the person that has 8 hours to be in the gym. We're talking about the person that maybe has 60 minutes, 90 minutes. They have a lot of responsibilities. They also have a job and a family. How can they maximize a gym session?
I'd say, it's a lot of, I don't program necessarily like what you ran me through, but in relation to that, I do program a more compact workout with more frequent movement, less downtime. So you're not gonna push necessarily, if I'm gonna put a heavy lift, it's gonna be on that front end.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're gonna follow up with it with some more exertion style training, get the most out of your cardiovascular system while you're there, and then get the heck out. So you still have that time and also that mental, oh, I got that out of my workout kind of feeling.
I love that, because I was looking at the time, I'm we're almost spot on 50 minutes, and we've just gotten all that work done. But I think the perception for people is oh, I have to spend 3 hours in the gym to look the way that we look. And I want you guys to know that how long did it take for you to get to this position? How many years?
Oh gosh, about 7 to 8 years.
Okay, so 7 to 8 years for you to look the way you look, which is phenomenal shape. For me, I've been training, I've been doing this as a profession for 20 years. I've been training since I was 13. Now I'm 37. You do the math on that. It's a lot of years, right? And I think sometimes we think, well, I've been training for 4 to 5 months. Why do I not look like you? Or I've been training for 2 years. Why do I not look like you? People aren't patient enough, right? But then on the other side of that, they don't dial in the nutritional side of that, which is really what I want to ask you about. What does your nutrition look like to compete, but also just to kind of keep yourself relatively in shape out of season 2?
I say nutritionally, I try to stay within the same wheelhouse, both in prep and out of prep. I just soften up when I'm out of prep. I obviously have to increase my intake, which starts out gradual coming out of a show, just for health reasons, gradually uptake, and then I get myself into a surplus. At that point, I am eating on plan, which is your basics. I've got lean proteins, fatty proteins, your basic carbs between potatoes, rice, and sometimes some pastas. And then, protein, I definitely keep additive, supplemented protein throughout my seasons because I do intake quite a bit of protein. But then when I go into progress season, I'll be more free with some pasta sauces. I won't shy away from the Parmesan chicken bake, but I'm still staying in a 15% wheelhouse, and I'm conscious of ingredients. That's a big deal to me. I don't want to throw off my entire system, my enzymatic responses, things of that nature. So I keep it clean. I think that's the real secret. And then, when I do have those times that I got a teenager. If there's a time I'm gonna have pizza, I'm gonna have the pizza. But the thing I love about that is that I stay so on point with my nutrition all around the year that I don't feel guilty when I have that pizza. And the next day I have a crazy awesome lift and my body is so responsive, it's flushed that pizza out and I'm good to go.
I think that is so incredibly important for people to know. Do you think that people need to put in the work, the discipline, the sacrifice at first to then get to that position where you can do that?
I do, because I think it's also a mental health game at that point, you know. If you start out by rewarding yourself continuously, you're teaching yourself, kind of like a dog, to reward yourself with food. When I have pizza, it's not a reward. It's oh, I can do this. I don't have to think about it in that way because I've spent so much time building this discipline and this consistency with my body to be able to respond like that. But if you start out and you're just doing that every handful of days, you're never creating the appropriate responses in your body to handle that in a healthy way. So yeah, I do think, you know, on the front end, it is important to go do your best to give 110%. Show yourself that you can flex that way. And if it takes a while to build up to that, it takes a minute to build up to that. And you also have to be okay with that because we all have our own struggles along the way. But if this is a real goal, if you're ambitious to get to that point in your life, it's not going to happen if you don't put in the work.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I think that that's a huge one because I think people will, you know, go down the route of, well, you know, I don't have to eat so clean. I want to live a little. I don't want to deprive my body. And then, you know, you're fighting that war. And I think that when people go, it's okay, go and eat off track and go and have your cheat meals and go and do this, go do that. And it almost feels like people need to have like the permission when they hear it on social media, especially when they hear, oh, okay, just have the bad days. It's fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But let's say they're trying to get to that point where they have the pizza and it's just like, whatever. They're not putting in that first initial work to become a bit more disciplined. So then they're falling into the trap of kind of like external validation of someone else saying it. And I just don't think that that's the right way. That's not what creates a healthy balance mentally.
No, and like prospectively, if you put yourself on one end of a timeline and your goal on the other, and you break apart that discipline, say it's a discipline track, right? Mm-hmm. The more times you break it apart, the further you're pushing that goal from yourself. And so if you picture that in a line graph, the goal just keeps moving away from you.
That's right.
And so, no, you really do. It's not an option, because at that point also, I know I keep circling back to it, but mental health. You keep giving yourself those justifications and excuses, and you start getting upset with yourself or with your trainer or with your nutritionist that you're not reaching that goal as quickly as you thought you should.
Yeah.
When in reality, you're stopping yourself. You're standing in your own way.
Have you done anything like this ever before?
Not like that.
How do you feel?
Toasted. I got my ass kicked just now.
How would you compare it to like the hardest prep you've ever had?
Oh, two different things. This for 12 weeks straight. Hard energy. But exertion and a workout is much different. Holy. I feel like my quads just did a marathon. And my lungs stayed at the start.
Crushed the first round. Went out a little hot. I was like, dang, this girl's going for it.
Stop getting tense.
Yes, it's usually how it feels. It feels good at first.
Not a sprint.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it gets very real very quickly, right? It's crazy.
But it's one of those things that's like, I can push it. It hurts, but it's not going to hurt me. Yeah. So it's like separating out my mind as I'm going.
Dang.
And that's that point. It's like, it just hurts.
We are here at my gym in Brea, California. It's called Osletics. And I was super fortunate enough to take Tristen through a workout, my style of workout, which is more functional training, high intensity based. But I'm excited to actually share more of like this long form content with you where you can see more about like how I do things, how she does things, but also like explain it. And hopefully you're going to learn a lot along the way.
This is going to be awesome. super stoked to see how it goes.
Okay, like what are we doing? Like I'm ready. You know, I feel like I'm a bit of a rabbit right now. I have no idea what she's saying. She said something about a machine and I look like I'm lost.
Unless you have an ailment to your body, everybody should be able to do a pull-up. I know it takes work and training.
Oh shit, they're on the program today, but I can't do them.
But we should be able to pull our own body weight.
Oh my gosh, where's the nearest band? Heavy band, eh? This does not feel like a heavy band. This is bullshit.